Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and Duels has been out for about a week now, and I thought I'd make a video going over every single class in the best deck, or at least one of the best decks that you can basically start as your starting deck to go into Duels if you have access to the early access, and give yourself a reasonable shot of winning. Pretty much all the decks I will be highlighting have either gone 12 wins, or at least, I think at the very least 9. I'll highlight the ones that basically haven't gone 12 wins. And yeah, you can take a look at your collection, what you can do here, and maybe you can build some of these decks and have a good run in Duels. So let's get going. Let's take a look at 10 decks that you can play in Duels and have some success with. So first, starting with Demon Hunter, you have Star Student Stelina as your option of hero. Your treasure is Summoning Ritual. It summons 3 demons from your deck. They're dormant for 2 turns. And your hero power is Infernal Strike. You gain +1 attack this turn, so it's like regular Demon Hunter, but if you destroy him, you get a second slice. So the deck we're highlighting here is basically a mix of Soul Fragment Demon Hunter and a demon mix. So you have a couple of big demons to utilize your treasure. You have Ancient Voidhound, Hulking Overfiend, and then you have basically the regular Soul Fragment stuff. Spirit Jailer, Soul Shear, Marrow Slicer, Lapidary, and Malicia. And yeah, this deck has done pretty well. I've done different builds of it. I've had, I think, 9 and 10 wins. This list here got 12 wins. And to draft more stuff, you want to keep going with the, typically the Soul Fragment, get more Malicias, get more Marrow Slicers, Lapidaries, and one of the passives that I saw that was really powerful was like doubling your Battle Cry. So like you could Lapidary for 10 damage, which was insane. All your Soul Fragment cards outside of like Soul Shear you could double up on. So Spirit Jailer throws 4 fragments into your deck. And you can do other stuff like have your spells cost less, but I thought Double Battle Cry did a really good job, and you can have some success with this. Next we have Druid, where you get to play as Forest Warden Omu. Your hero power is Nature's Gift, which is 2 mana. Choose one, +2 attack, or gain +2 spell damage this turn. And you get the treasure of Warden's Insight as a 3 mana spell. Choose one, refresh your mana crystals, or summon a tree for each one, or each mana crystal you have. So so the list I'm highlighting here was taken from HS Deck Tech. You got 12 wins with this, and it's basically like a Guardian Animals, like a Animal Druid Survival of the Fittest list. You got Guardian Animals in here with your beasts like Twilight Runner, Teacher's Pet, Lake Thresher, you know, your regular ramp with Wild Growth. You got Nature Studies, and the wild card here that's interesting is Medivh the Guardian. It's 8 mana weapon. It gives you Atiesh, which summons a random minion for the amount of mana you spent. So if you spend 10 mana on Survival Phase, you get a random 10 drop, which is pretty good in Duels, because I think all you can get is Sea Giant or Deathwing. Like, you can't really low roll it. The worst you're doing is an 8/8. And yeah, I felt whenever I went with Druid, I try to get ramp. You try and get like Overgrowth, because you can't draft them. You just can't put them in your deck. And then, you know, get more Guardian Animals, get more Mana Cheat, and if you can get the goggles that like make the cards on the left side of your hand cost 2 less, that can be really good. Or make the card, try and get the passive that makes your cards that cost 5 or more cost 5, so you can cheat out your 10 mana spell for 5 mana. So you kind of want to look for the mana cheat options with this build, not so much the spell damage stuff that utilizes that other aspect of your hero power, but you can definitely high roll pretty hard with the big beasts if you don't die too early. Next, we're taking a look at Hunter, where you get to pick Professor Slate. Your hero power is Survival Training, which is 2 mana, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero, then give a random friendly minion +1 attack, and the treasure you're able to pick is Slate Syringe. It's a 3 mana spell. Steal 3 attack and health from an enemy minion, and you get +3/+3 to a random friendly beast. So the list I'm highlighting here is actually a one I took to 12 wins, and it's built mostly around Beast and Death Rattles. So you have like Web Spinner, which is Death Rattle, Warple Tinger, Nerubian Egg, Cream for like some value trading, and put like Teacher's Pet and Highmane. And basically, I went all in on this, trying to get the Death Rattle stuff. There's a passive that the Death Rattle will proc when you play it. So you get that early, it's just ridiculous. Play Nerubian Egg, and you cheat it out. So again, I got goggles for this as well, which makes the left card on the left side of your hand cost 2 less, and I was able to cheat out my Death Rattles, and I ended up picking like stuff like Play Dead and Carnivorous Cube. I went all into the Death Rattles, and I would always win the board super early, and there's like no way to deal with all these Death Rattles, and I won quite handily. Death Rattle Hunter seems to be a really good way to go, and this build is basically tailored for that. So try and get those passives that really accent the Death Rattles. Next, we have Mage, where you'll pick Mozaki Master Duelist. Your hero power is 2 mana. You deal 1 damage, but if you kill a minion, you summon a Mana Worm, and then your Your treasure is a Wand of Dueling. It's a 1-mana weapon, 0/3 weapon, and your hero deals 1 extra damage, and you lose 1 durability for each time you use it. So it's a good way of getting mana worms if like there's a 2 health minion on board. And I'm highlighting a list here from Crasher. That's, it's like a tempo mage based small spell mage based list. You have like Wand Thief, Apprentice, a couple 1-mana spells like Devolving Missiles, Primordial Studies, and a little bit of late game with like Fireline's Portal. But you have Raz, Frost Whisper, and Jandis Barrel for your mid game. And yeah, you want to basically look for the passives that are really spell based. Spell damage +1 can be really good. I think you can end up getting another spell damage passive later on, or try and get like the first spell you cast or draw this turn costs 1 less, or your spells cost 1 less, and you can do some really absurd stuff. But you definitely want to go on the spell route. Like the mana cheat options aren't that great, but if you can get that going, it can be incredible. Or even summoning like multiple legendaries, because you can like summon multiple Razes or get like Bloodmage Thalnos, summon a bunch of those. It can be really powerful. And yeah, typically go the spell route, but you can kind of make some other things work if you get a little bit adventurous. Next, we have Paladin. You get Turalion, the Tenured. He's got a hero power of 2 mana from Golden Light. Summon a friendly minion that died this game with 1 health. So it's basically 2 mana Resurrect with Reborn, right? And you have the Treasure of the Royal Greatsword. It's a 6 mana, 6/3 weapon. After you attack, summon a random legendary minion from your deck. So that's really powerful, especially the first battle. It's 18 damage, and the first battle, the heroes start with 20 health, so it's pretty absurd. I'm highlighting a list here that went 12 wins that is built around secrets. You have like Avenge, Redemption, Loot Hoarder, Mad Scientist, like really early game base, and then you have, basically he's only got the 2 legendaries in here. He's got Kel'Thuzad to bring stuff back, and Lord Barrow, which can be a good clear. And then you can just draft like whatever greedy legendaries to make your weapon work. But you really don't need many early legendaries in the early game, because basically if you win the early game, you're going to kill your opponent with the treasure weapon. It's just ridiculous. And then you want to survive with this hero power, because the hero power is ridiculous. The weapon value is insane. And yeah, just kind of go for this like early aggression line. You could go that route. You can go the greedy route. I've done greedy runs, but this is probably a bit more consistent and kind of interesting to me to give this one a go. Like bringing back Argent Commanders is actually kind of funny. Just keep on charging and all that. So you might want to give this one a go. Next we have Priest, where you get to pick Mind Render Elusia with the hero power Shadow Men, 2 mana, restore 3 health to a character. That's any character. If it's still damaged, draw a card. So that's like card draw for Priest, which is pretty insane. And you get the treasure Fractured Spirit. It's a 5 mana spell. Silence a minion, then summon 2 copies of it. You don't really want to build your deck around this at all. Like this treasure's not that great, but it's there and you can utilize it, and it can go on enemy minions. So you can silence like a big threat and summon 2 of your own, which can be pretty good. But I'm highlighting a list here from Ghost Dog. He went 12 wins, and it's very similar to what you see in Constructed. You have like the Dragon package, you have the Seal package with like Wave of Apathy, Cabal Acolyte, Cabal Shadow Priest, and you're just trying to, outvalue your opponent with like Thought Steal, Psychic Conjure, value generation. And I believe Ghost Dog said he had got the first spell you cast this turn, cast twice, so that's something you might want to try and look for, because Double Holy Nova is really good. Double Draconic Studies is insane. You can do some really crazy value stuff and also tempo stuff. And another thing I saw that worked pretty well is cards that didn't start in your deck cost 1 less. If you can get that option, it can be really solid, because you're going to be creating a lot of cards in this with this stuff, and that can be very helpful. And you might even want to throw a Wand Maker in there. I see no Wand Maker. I'd probably cut out the Doomsayer and throw a Wand Maker in there, because you can get another Draconic Studies, another Holy Smite, another Wave of Apathy. I thought that was a really solid card. But overall, he went 12 wins with this. Seems pretty good, and you might have a good time giving this one a go. Next, we have Warrior. You get to pick Rattlegore. Your hero power is No Guts, No Glory. It's 2 mana. Deal 1 damage to a minion. If it lives, gain +2 attack. If it dies, gain 2 armor. So it's like Enrage, Inner Rage, pretty much, for your hero power or armor gain, which can be pretty good. And your treasure is Auto Armaments. It's a 4 mana 2/6 mech. Whenever this takes damage, draw a minion from your deck and give it +1/+1. So not only is it a bit of a draw engine, but it gives you some hand buff stuff, which is pretty good. This is a 12 win list from Der Wutzbolt. It's built around, it's basically got the Control Warrior style package. You have some armor gain and Armor Smith, removal and execute, but you're also like tempoing with like Frothing, Rampage, Athletic Studies, and you have late game Bomb and Rattlegore, Grom and Troublemaker. So this is got your curve all over the place. Seems to be pretty good. You can just kind of try and build your deck to be very controlling. Get removal, get more armor gain. You can have it where friendly minions, when they die, they gain more armor. Or you can just try and make your expensive stuff, like we mentioned. There's the passive that your late game, all your expensive cards cost 5 mana. So that could be a really good option. You can play Rattlegore for 5, which can be incredibly powerful. Or hell, just go for like your Death Rattles proccing and play Rattlegore, and that can be pretty insane. So list is done pretty well. Warrior seems to be pretty good in the duel, so maybe give this list a go. Next we have Rogue, where you get to pick Infiltrator Lillian. The hero power is Roguish Maneuvers. It's 2 mana. You either hero power equip a 1/2 dagger, so just the regular hero power for Rogue, or combo equip a 2/2 dagger, so like the Odd Rogue hero power. And your treasure is Deadly Weapons 101. It's 3 mana, give your weapon +2/+1. Combo, also give it poisonous. So this is one of the better treasures available. And piloting a list here, I didn't see how many wins this list got, but it seems to be pretty solid. Rogue's not the best in the duel, so it's probably why it was harder to find information, but it's built around weapons. You can't actually put like a good weapon in the deck. A self-sharpening sword is not available. It's banned for whatever reason. But you know, you got your early game. You got Secret Passage, Swashbuckler, Wand Thief. You got Edwin, Toxin Blade, Cunning Class, and Janus. So you got your early tempo, some weapon upgrade stuff. And yeah, you just try and out-tempo your opponent, try and aggro them down. And you basically want to try and draft like a good weapon to buff up and good removal and just kind of smork it up, because Rogue doesn't have that much flexibility from what I've seen, although like higher win duel decks have been more of the aggressive line. So go with the aggressive line stuff. Maybe you can double up on spells that might be able to help, like double up on Eviscerate, or just, yeah, see what you can do. Rogue's a little bit tougher, might not be one of the better ones to give a go if you're offered it, but if you want to try Rogue, maybe this list will do the trick. Next we have Shaman, where you can pick Instructor Fireheart. Your hero power is Totemic Power, it's a 2 mana hero power. Summon a random totem. If you're overloaded, summon a non-basic totem as well. From what I've seen, you can only get, as a non-basic totem, you can get Manatide Totem, Trick Totem, and Flame Tongue Totem. You can't get like Totem Goliath, which would be pretty insane if you could. Your treasure is Fluctuating Totem. It's 2 mana 0/3 totem. Stealth for 1 turn. At the end of your turn, evolve adjacent minions. And this list I'm highlighting here is a 9-win list from Ghost Dog. It's more of a control-y kind of token-based thing. You got Tidal Wave to clear up the board if you've lost it, gain some healing, but you have Robes of Protection, so your stuff can't get like targeted by hero powers or spells. Diligent Note Taker is pretty good to like double up on spells. Some good ones like Maelstrom Horde or Evolving Missiles. And you got Bloodlust, because you're going to be summoning totems all the time. You want to overload a lot, because overloading is just really strong with that hero power. I just find that the Shaman decks always seem to fall off at the very late stages, the high win marks. It's really good in the early game that hero power is busted, but once the decks start getting really powerful and catch up, that's when I find that Shaman really falls off. It just doesn't have that late game oomph, but you can try and look for some of the effects that can be really good, or like passive spell damage can be really strong, because you have cards like Maelstrom Portal. You can maybe draft some burn options to try and smork your opponent out, or you can just take the passive that evolves minions that you play, because you're playing a lot of like battle cry stuff, so you can evolve into some maybe ridiculous minions, to high roll your opponent. But again, Shaman's not one of the stronger classes, so be a little bit apprehensive. But again, it's really good in the early game. Like, it feels super busted early game, because that hero power is so strong. So you'll get consistent like wins with it early. It's just in the late, to get to the 12 wins, it can be a little bit difficult. And lastly, we have Warlock with Archwitch Willow is the hero you can pick. Your hero power is the Dark Arts. It's 2 mana. Look up to 4 cards in your hand and discard 1, then draw 1 card. So if you have no cards in hand, you can't even use your hero power. And yeah, you have to discard 1, which is great, right? And then you have Impish Aid as your treasure. It's a 3 mana 4/3 demon. Whenever you summon to give it a demon, give it +2/+2. And yes, it's as bad as it looks. And we're highlighting a list here from Dice Roll, who managed to get 9 wins with this garbage. You got, Malchezaar's Imp, you have Boneweb Egg, and you have Silverware Golem, because you need the discard synergies to work, because the Warlock hero power is absolutely useless unless you're discarding stuff. And he's got like just trying to high roll demons like Void Callers. Joe is in here for some reason because it's Warlock. It's just don't draft. If you see Warlock, don't pick it. It's terrible. The hero power is bad. The treasure's bad. You have to get discard buckets for it to be any good, and it's still bad. Don't pick Warlock, okay? I'm just highlighting somebody that somehow managed to get 9 wins with Warlock. Don't pick it. It's awful. But I wanted to highlight all 10 classes because, there's 10 classes, kind of. Just don't pick Warlock. And that's it. That's a highlight of all 10 classes in a deck that you can pick and do reasonably well in duels, except for Warlock. And if you like the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.